It was at the end of 2012 that I first found Gary Wilson's site Your Brain on Porn and decided to start rebooting, which means I have been involved in the rebooting community for just about 10 years now. So if I could go back in time and start again with the knowledge I have gained over the years, what would I do differently? Well, first I would have to say that I would definitely seek some form of help. Why? Well, because as my long-term subscribers know, it took me 7 years to overcome my addiction. Yes, it was 7 years of relapsing with shorter streaks and longer streaks. So, looking back at it, getting some help could have saved me many years of pain. But here's the deal. When I started, I had no idea it was going to take me that long. That's the thing with our lives. We do not know what lies ahead. But if I would have known it was going to take me that long, I would have searched for help from my very first day. Now, even if people get help or do an online course, sure they get guidance, making everything so much easier, but they still need to put in the work. I know that because today I'm on the other side, since now I'm the one helping clients. And when it comes to putting in the work, here's what I would do differently if I started again today. When I started rebooting, I didn't know just how powerful that addiction voice can be. I remember when I first started, I read some comments on Your Brain on Porn from guys who had just relapsed, maybe already in their second or third week. And I remember thinking, what's wrong with you guys? Don't you have any self-control at all? Oh man, well, little did I know that I was soon about to relapse probably more than 100 times myself, and that it would take me 7 years to get the hang of it. Today I know how difficult it can be, and, well, I wish I wouldn't have been so arrogant in my thinking back then. If I were to go back in time, I would now know that you can't just rely on willpower. You have to have strategies in place when the addiction voice starts whispering in your ear. And since your circumstances may change during your reboot years, you need to be flexible as well and be able to modify your strategies. And not only that, you also need to rehearse those strategies. Think them through, write them down, and perhaps even practice them like a fire drill, even when you're not having urges, just to help hammer them into your brain. Because here's the thing, the addiction voice I talked about, well, in the heat of the moment, it tends to make your mind go blank, making you very vulnerable to relapsing. So your replacement strategy needs to be prepared in advance. It needs to be active, ready to execute. And if you also practice the routine on a regular basis, you are much more likely to not get hijacked and lose control when that addiction voice starts messing with you. Another thing I would do if I started today is to reduce my sugar intake from my very first day, because it took me an embarrassingly long time to realize that sugar made my dopamine system start looking for more dopamine. And obviously that made me relapse so many times during the years. I would also drastically cut down my caffeine intake, because it wasn't until the last couple of years of my reboot that it finally clicked for me that I was very caffeine sensitive, and that having just 1 or 2 strong cups of coffee made my stress levels higher and my sleep quality worse. But no, in my stubbornness, I just kept drinking that damn coffee, and oftentimes much more than 2 cups a day. Now, poor sleep will make you much more reactive to everything. It lowers your self-control, so obviously it made me relapse so many times as well, just like the sugar. Now, the caffeine thing is different for everyone though, because some people can tolerate caffeine just fine. It's just that I'm very sensitive to coffee, so I need to be careful with it. I still drink it though, but either very small amounts or then I go for decaf. So those are some things I wish I would have known when I started, and since there are more of them, I will actually make a part 2, sharing more of those things with you all. So consider subscribing for that one. Lastly, as overcoming a PMO addiction can be a bit tricky, if you find yourself struggling and failing again and again, then perhaps consider getting some help. You can, for example, reach out to me for a one-on-one coaching session, but I'm not just saying that to promote myself here. No, you can just as well seek out some local therapist in your area or find some other help. But if you have been trying for more than 6 months and you keep relapsing, you should really consider doing something with someone, because unfortunately addiction is progressive, meaning it tends to get worse over time. If you need help, then there is also the possibility of doing an online course at your own pace. In order to know what courses I should recommend, I have been checking out a special system, and I really have to say it produces phenomenal results. This is a course using something called habit construction therapy, which is a powerful thing, especially when it comes to quitting addiction to adult sites. And that, in combination with the fact that the course is created by a licensed therapist who has personal experiences with having to overcome his own addiction to adult sites, well, this makes the system work extremely well. It's quite unique, really. So if that's something that could be of interest to you, then I recommend you sign up to a free webinar where Josh Hudson tells you more about the principles behind this method, and then you can decide what to do from there. You can find a link to that webinar right under this video. Just click the link where it says webinar and it'll take you there. I will also include a link to my own coaching down there if you'd rather get coached by me, or then don't do anything with either of us, but do something with someone, because life is too short to waste it on addiction to adult sites. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today, and as always, I wish you all the best in your journey to become the strongest version of yourself. And remember, as Winston Churchill used to say, if you are going through hell, keep going.